Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. In today's video we're going to be going over slope of a line, and we're also going to be using illustrations to further enhance our understanding about this topic. So let's first get started with the definition of a slope. So slope is defined as the ratio of a vertical change, otherwise known as rise, to the horizontal change, otherwise known as run, between any 2 points on a line. So for example, if we look at this graph here, we can see that the slope is the ratio from the vertical rise over here to the horizontal rise, or otherwise known as rise over run. And mathematically the slope formula is given m is equal to y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. And in this case, x1, y1, and also x2 and y2 are any 2 points given on the line. So for example, if we go back to the same picture here, we can see that x1 in this case is given as -4 and x2 is given as +4. And for y1 we're using -8, and for y2 we're using +8. So in this case we can find out the slope by doing that. So this is how we can define a slope. Now let's go over what a positive slope is. So a positive slope is a line that slants upwards from the direction of left to right. So in this case, we can see in this graph, this line is going from left to right and it's going upwards. So from this, we can see that this would be a positive slope. And this is the graph for y is equal to 3x, but for any number here, so this would be replaced with m, so y would be equal to mx. If m is any positive number, then this positive slope, it would always become a positive slope because it would always go from left to right and also slant upwards. So that is what a positive slope is. Now let's talk about what a negative slope is. So a negative slope is any line that slants downwards in the direction from left to right. So you can just say it's the opposite of a positive slope. And this graph is specifically meant for y is equal to -2x. And basically, if we go back to the equation, y is equal to mx+c. In this case, c is equal to 0. And then m for any negative number. If m is any negative number, then we're going to have a negative slope, which basically means that the line will go from left to right and it will be downwards. And that way is and in this case, this is how we can find out if a slope is negative or not. For the next slope we have is called the zero slope. And a zero slope indicates that a line is horizontal. And in this case, we're using y is equal to 3. So in a zero slope, there is no x inside of the equation, it's just y is equal to any static number. So for example, in this case, we're using y is equal to 3, and it's just a slope that runs through y is equal to 3. And for example, we could also use any negative number, such as y is equal to -6, then it would be the exact same line just on the -6 point. So this is what a zero slope is. And now let's talk about an undefined slope. An undefined slope refers to a line that is vertical. And in this case, we're graphing the line x is equal to 2. So an undefined slope is basically where there is no y in the equation and there's only x. So in this case, we're using x is equal to 2, and it's just a vertical line that goes through x is equal to 2. If we use x is equal to -4, then it would be the exact same, but it would run through -4. So it's just the opposite of a zero slope, except it's on the x-axis instead of the y-axis. And now let's talk about what the slope of parallel lines are. So parallel lines are lines in the same place that never intersect. So in this case, we can see that these two lines are parallel because they run together and they never intersect. And basically, the slope of a parallel line is equal. So that means m1 would be equal to m2. And we can see this because these obviously run the exact same. They don't intersect each other, and they're going to have the exact same slope. So if we were to find out 2 points from both of the slopes, then they would have the exact same slope. So m1 would be equal to m2. And now let's talk about the slopes of perpendicular lines. So perpendicular lines are lines that intersect at a right angle, such as 90 degrees. And in this case, we can see that these two lines are intersecting and there is a 90 degrees angle. So we can see that these lines are perpendicular. And the slope of two perpendicular lines can be expressed as m1 times m2 is equal to -1. So the slope of perpendicular lines is always going to be equal to -1. And that basically summarizes everything for this video. So thank you so much for watching from Try to Be Useful, and we'll see you guys in our next math video.